TV production for this program was provided by Capstone Productions, Inc. and ephistory.com, the website for TV documentaries on DVD, and information about our webcast and radio broadcasts about El Paso history and heritage. Thank you for watching.
Everyone, thank you so much for being here. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would please rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Welcome everyone to your county courthouse. We're so glad to have you with us today. I know many of you have seen our centerpiece before as you come and go from the county courthouse. Some of you, this is the first time that you've seen Our Lady Justice, but today is our official unveiling and dedication of really what is a gorgeous centerpiece and something that we are so privileged to have back at our courthouse. And no longer will the centerpiece be the metal detectors. It's now this beautiful statue. We have so many VIPs in the audience, and we have many important guests here with us. There's just far too many people to introduce. So all of you who made time and took time away from your busy schedule, we are very grateful. This dedication ceremony is really important to all of us because this marks the end of a journey for Lady Justice, the end of a very, very long journey. This sculpture is a part of El Paso history and a part of El Paso downtown history, and she has made her way around the community and finally has reached her resting place. Those of us who grew up in El Paso and who are lucky enough to come to work downtown every single day, we know that every day, it seems, we lose important historical treasures in our community. Far too many gorgeous architectural treasures have been torn down and are now parking lots or strip malls or buildings with no real architectural value. We also know that much of the history of those buildings is also lost. And our history is an important part of who we are. It's an important part of our culture. It's an important part of our identity. And so the rescuing of Lady Justice and the investment that was made by the public and the private sector is an important reinvestment, not in a sculpture, but in ourselves. It's an important reinvestment in who we are as a community and what we value. And that investment would not have happened without the help of so many of you here today, both in public dollars and in private dollars. But it certainly would not have happened without one man who spearheaded the project, whose idea it was to bring back Lady Justice to the courthouse, and who dedicated a lot of time and energy to making that happen. And that is the Honorable David Wellington Chu, Chief Justice, Senior Status, 8th Court of Appeals, El Paso. Chief Justice.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners, members of the Judiciary. It's a great honor to be here today. I flew in last night from McAllen, Texas, where I have been currently assigned in my career after being a judge, where I work in industrial real estate. It was 102 and 75% humidity, and so it's always good to be home. And I think Lady Justice will agree with me, it's always good to come home after a long wait. The Lady Justice here adorned the 1886 courthouse, and she looked out onto San Antonio Street, on which the streetcars, first the mule cars and then the electric streetcars, ran for many years. And it was actually the streetcar project which I think brought her to my attention. Ron Dawson, who is the current president of the Paso del Norte Streetcar Preservation Society, which I helped found about 30 years ago and still exists, along with Prince McKenzie, came to my chambers while I was still the Chief Justice on the 12th floor. And in the course of talking about streetcars, Prince, ever the art curator, brought to my attention that the oldest public piece of artwork in El Paso County was the Lady Justice statue, and that she was guarding the entrance to Ascarate Park. I didn't believe him, because I, as a native El Pasoan, a longtime resident, I never knew she was out there, and I'm not sure if anybody knows how long she was out there. But I immediately drove out there that lunch, indeed found her there, and that was in 2007. It occurred to me that she needed to come back to the courthouse, and so I immediately approached the commissioner, for Ascarate, and that was Commissioner Escobar. And she very graciously encouraged me to proceed, and ultimately the Commissioner's Court approved the project. I then went to Gary Williams with the El Paso Community Foundation, who's always a leader in these projects and the go-to person if you want to get anything done in this line. He immediately set up a meeting with Janice Wendell, and I'm very pleased that the El Paso Community Foundation became a partner in the project. It was also in 2007 the 100th anniversary of the El Paso Bar Association. And unfortunately, the Bar Association was having some funding issues at that time, but they also agreed that they would become partners in this effort. And then the commissioners passed the resolution and assigned it to a lady who is not here today, I don't believe, but who I think single-handedly made this project happen, and that was Rosemary Neal. And through her efforts, this statute is here today. She's come home to rest. And I think I'm still hopeful that the streetcars will also make it back sometime soon. But at least we have one project down, and I again thank Gary Williams, Prince McKenzie, and many others who served on that committee. Too many to name at this time, but certainly they know who they are, and I thank them all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge, so much. Our next speaker is the president of the Bar Association, and the Bar Association was an important partner to us in this project, helped raise private funds, and obviously represents an organization for whom justice is critically important. Ms. Laura Enriquez.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say a special thanks to Justice Wellington Chu. We would not be here today. It was his vision, his idea, and all of the hard work that he put in that made this possible. Thank you so much, Justice. We are so privileged to have you have been to one of our judges, and for you to have done this project, and for you to have left such a beautiful legacy for all of us lawyers and judges in El Paso. Thank you so much, Justice. I would also like to thank the El Paso Community Foundation. Eric Pearson and I are very good friends. We appreciate so much all the work. Special thanks, of course, to Judge Veronica Escobar and all the county commissioners for agreeing to fund this project. And of course to the members of the El Paso Bar Association who put in their money and their time, and everyone else from the public who did that. We appreciate so much. I understand that when Justice Wellington Chu first saw this statute, that the gown was shredded, that the scales were missing, and that the sword was also missing, and that one of her feet was nearly severed. It's amazing to see her restored, and this is the way she's supposed to be. And when we walk into this courthouse as lawyers and justices, we want to remember what she symbolizes, what our duties are, why we're here, and that's why it's so important and so significant that she's here as we walk in. That's really all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is the president of the El Paso Community Foundation. And the El Paso Community Foundation, as you all know, is instrumental in this community in ensuring that we preserve what's important to us. They've done an amazing job with the Plaza Theater, the Plaza Film Classics. They are an important philanthropic organization within this community, and they reside here in the heart of downtown. And someone who I'm lucky to be friends with and to be political allies with, Mr. Eric Pearson.
Everything but that political part. I am so happy to be here, entering a courthouse that is now greeting all of you with the ideals of justice. I think that's really important. And there were a lot of great things about this project, but the biggest one is the partnership that it really crystallized between the county and the El Paso Bar Association, the judiciary, and the El Paso Community Foundation. I can only speak about the Community Foundation's role in it, and my big thought about that is a man who's standing right there in a blue jacket, because no one here wears blue jackets, but Gary Williams. He was sort of the center of the universe when this started moving, and when chess pieces moved and when people changed office, Gary was there to make sure that what we were doing was what we were doing. And so here we are at the end of a county stepping up and restoring the statue, and a whole lot of people weighing in on El Paso's history, and all of you and everyone here benefiting from that. And so that partnership is what really makes me excited. Wow. The other person I just want to mention who is now an employee of the El Paso Community Foundation is Rosemary Neal, whose calm leadership led us through all of the political red tape with Smithsonian, with history, with vendors, etc., to get us what we have today. So thank you all for your contribution. The Community Foundation is truly honored to be a part of this partnership.
And absolutely, I'm so glad that you all acknowledged Rosemary Neal's participation in this and leadership in this. She played a hugely important role, and we're sad that she could not be here with us today. I also want to acknowledge there are many, many county employees who played a role in making sure that this was shepherded through multiple administrations. I will tell you this, and many thanks to the Commissioner's Court for supporting this. The vast majority of this funding came from hotel-motel tax dollars. Hot funding, is how it's referred to, is frequently used to fund convention-like facilities or events that bring people in from out of town. But counties are also able to use hotel-motel funds in order to restore historical treasures like this. The County of El Paso has used our hot funds historically, no pun intended, to fund some of our assets out in the valley. And the idea to divert some of those funds to the courthouse was something that was embraced by every single member of Commissioner's Court through every different administration, because we started in 2007. But it took a commitment from the court, and I'd like to thank my colleagues for making sure that while we made a few sacrifices in the outlying areas in order to move the funding to the courthouse, that it was something well worth the effort, well worth the investment. And finally, I think to something that Ms. Enriquez mentioned, the state of the statue when Judge Chu or Justice Chu went out to visit her, I think that is really a very powerful symbol for so much that has gone on in our community over the last several years. We have been through a lot. This courthouse has been through a lot. The public that we serve and the public that funds this institution has been through a lot. And so the investment that we're making And the place that where we're putting Lady Justice in her proper place, front and center in all her glory, it's more than just a symbol for justice. It's more than just a symbol for embracing our past. It's a symbol for how we feel about the community that we all love. So without further ado, let's cut the ribbon, and if you all could just join me, please. And then after the ribbon cutting, we have a reception on the 3rd floor. We'd love to have you all celebrating with us. All right, excellent. Okay, we hope to see you on the 3rd floor. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. TV production for this program was provided by Capstone Productions Inc. and ephistory.com, the website for TV documentaries on DVD and information about our webcast and radio broadcasts about El Paso history and heritage.